In this video, I'm going to show you exactly how to use asymmetry to generate 100,000 leads for your company. So if you're a B2B company, for as long as you run a company, you sell to other business owners, you sell highly priced stuff or services from maybe 10,000 all the way to multi-millions. This strategy, trust me, is going to put a lot of leads into your company, right? So stick with me to the end, because by the end of this video, you're going to actually find a loophole or a system or a blueprint that you can use to put unlimited leads into your company. Let's get right into it. So I'm going to show you how to take advantage of the asymmetric leverage to generate more leads. So I'm going to show you step by step with visuals exactly how to use asymmetry, or what we call asymmetric leverage, to generate as many leads as possible, so you can always have a healthy flow of booked appointments into your company, a healthy flow of conversions into your company. Because I know you're a company, you're a business owner. At the end of it all you want are sales, all you want is money coming into your company, right? So this is going to result into more booked appointments for you and your business, and more closed deals. I know that's exactly what you want. And hold on, we're actually using asymmetric leverage to add an extra $1 million to $100 million in aggregate revenue for our clients. So we are on a marathon to add an extra $1 million to $100 million in our client's company using the same asymmetric leverage. So you also can steal this system from us and implement it in your own company and make way more money for your company as well, right? So what will matter most here are the number of leads you are generating. So how many leads are you generating? In other words, leads are people that can buy your stuff. If you sell services, these are people that can buy your services. If you sell products, goods, these are people that can buy your products or goods. That's what we refer to as leads here, right? The number of advisory calls you are booking. So when you have thousands, maybe millions of leads, how many of those leads are booking an advisory call with you? How many are having a human to human conversation with you, right? You want to have that number in check. And your conversion rate. Then from the people that book an advisory call with you, they have a conversation with you, how many of those pay you money? How many of those transact money from their bank account into your bank account, right? So now let's get you 100,000 leads into your company, so you can have a healthy flow of leads, a healthy flow of appointments booked, a healthy flow of advisory calls, and finally a healthy cash flow into your company, right? So here's a quick commercial break right here. If you want a team of experts to execute this whole process with you, check the link in the description below and book an advisory meeting. Then we're going to run the whole system for you, but not do this after watching this video entirely, right? After finishing this video, you can go ahead and check the description of the video. You're going to find a link where you can book an advisory call with us right there. So now let's get you 100,000 leads as promised, using a concept called asymmetric leverage. So asymmetric leverage, basically in simpler terms, is just having an imbalance between two objects, such that if you cut them on the middle, they do not produce similar similar sections, right? That's what we refer to here as asymmetric leverage. So if you cut this small triangle together with this big triangle, maybe here, it's not going to give us the same sizes when you flip them, right? So that's asymmetric leverage. So to translate it in business language is you basically putting in minimum efforts to produce maximum results. It's like putting in 4 to get out 15, 50, 100. You put in $100, you get back $10 million. That is asymmetric leverage. I know these numbers are crazy, but I'm just trying to get you to understand what asymmetric leverage is. It's like a bicycle, right? Imagine a bicycle without without wheels, right? You'd probably struggle to push the bicycle. That is asymmetric leverage, in other words, just to make things easy. So here, basically, it's showing us what you need to focus on or do most to produce the maximum results possible, right? So this is going to show you what you need to do much of, right? By me, depicting this triangle as a small triangle, I don't mean you need less leads. What I mean here is that it's the bare minimum efforts you need to put in for you to get the maximum of results that you desire, right? So here you have leads, right? High quality leads. These are confirmed leads, warmed up leads, high quality leads, or verified leads of people that can afford to pay for what you buy, and they genuinely are struggling with the problem that you're solving, right? These are high quality leads. So if you have here, let's say 10,000 leads, okay, out of the 10,000 leads that you reach out to, when we do outreach, how many of those are going to convert into advisory calls? How many of those are you going to book on an advisory call, right? So that is asymmetric leverage, because now the number of leads you're having here are translating into the advisory calls, which is exactly what you want as a business owner. You want more advisory calls, right? So if you don't generate enough leads here, you are not going to have enough advisory calls. And because you don't have enough advisory calls, you're not going to have enough appointment booked. And because you don't have enough appointment booked, you're not going to have enough conversions. Because you don't have enough conversions, you are not going to make money, and your company is going to die. So now, the root cause of your company dying in this instance was you lacking leads, right? So what do we do then? We solve the leads problem. How then do you generate 100,000 good leads that can buy your stuff, right, and can afford your stuff, right? So you now understand the whole concept of the asymmetric leverage here, right? So now here's the thing. Let's say you have 100,000 leads here. Out of 100,000, let's say your conversion rate from leads to booked appointment is 4%. That is going to give you 4,000 booked appointments, right? If you lift your conversion rate from leads to booked appointment to 10%, you're going to have, let's say, 10,000 booked appointments here. So now there is also a factor to consider here, and that factor is your conversion rate from leads to an actual appointment booked. If that rate is at 1%, it simply means you're going to have 1,000 booked appointments here if you contact 100,000 leads. You see, if you raise that to 4%, you're going to have 4,000 booked appointments from 10,000 leads. If you lift that to 10%, you're going to have 10,000 booked appointments from 100,000 leads, right? So you now understand the whole concept here. So now what happens next is, now that we have advisory calls, 2,000 advisory calls booked here, from the 2,000 advisory calls you're booking here, how many of those are you closing, right? How many? So advisory calls in this instance is the asymmetric leverage you need to produce the closed deals, right? So how many advisory calls do you need to produce this number of closed deals that you want, right? So here we needed 100,000 leads to be able to bring out 4,000 booked appointments, and from the 4,000 booked appointments, we need to do 2,000 advisory calls for us to bring out 4,000 leads. But I'm sure we were supposed to have from booked appointments, we're supposed to have from booked appointments here to advisory calls. Let's say that is 10%, which is going to give us like 400 400 conversions, right? Which I think we have 400 closed deals right here. So if you do 2,000 advisory calls, right, you're going to get 4,000 closed deals. And in this instance, our asymmetric leverage is the number of advisory calls we are conducting, right? The more advisory calls we are conducting, of course, with high quality prospects, high quality prospective clients, the more closed deals we're going to get. You see how this goes. So it all goes back to the number of leads you're generating, the quality of the leads you're generating, to advisory calls you're getting, right? 100,000, 4%, you're getting 4,000 booked appointments. From 2,000 advisory calls that you conduct, for every 2,000 advisory calls you conduct, provided quality is not tampered with, you are getting 400 closed deals here. So now these metrics alone will be able to guide you where you are not doing well. Is it that you have low quality leads or less leads? Is it that you are not converting from leads to appointments booked, or maybe from appointment booked to advisory calls, or from advisory calls to closed deals? Where are you lagging, right? So this whole system is going to show you what you are not doing right. So from closed deals to income generated. So now in this instance, our asymmetric leverage is closed deals. For this X number of closed deals that we get, we're going to get this Y number of income generated. So meaning, if we convert 400 closed deals, assuming you sell stuff at 10,000 kwacha, you're going to generate 4 million in total revenue. If you convert 400 closed deals, assuming you sell stuff at 10,000 kwacha, your income generated here is 4 million kwacha. That's income generated. And this again ties back to the number of leads you had and the quality of leads. This is your asymmetric root leverage, right? Then you took it to advisory calls. From advisory calls here, you have, from advisory calls here, you have the number of deals you're closing. From closed deals, you have income generated. Assuming your staff was 20,000, here you could have generated 8 million. Assuming it was 30,000, you can do the math. 30,000 times 400 closed deals, right? So this is exactly what you need to do if you're trying to scale your company or lift your company from point X to point Y. Basically, you go back to the root cause. In this instance, which is, the number of leads you have, because it all begins with leads. From leads, you go to appointments booked. From appointment booked, the number of advisory calls you conduct. From advisory calls to closed deals, right? So the main focus should be on generating hyper A+ grade leads. So the higher the quality of leads you're generating, the higher the chances that you're going to book more appointments, the higher the chances you're going to get more advisory calls, the higher the chance you're going to make you are going to hit your financial targets, right? Let's say you sell tech services to other companies. So some of your prospective or A grade leads could be, number one, companies that are already generating maybe 100,000 plus in terms of revenue monthly. Number two, those companies that have a pain point, maybe they need an accounting system because they are constantly having issues with filing their tax returns. And number three, they've tried so many solutions and everything has failed, and now they're looking for a proper solution that will solve that problem. So a person with all that description could be your prospective client if you sell, ERP systems, accounting systems, because they meet the criteria of your A+ grade lead, right? So if you sell, let's say, business development consulting, so the people that you would probably need are, let's say, someone who wants to grow their company from 100,000 to 1 million, right? And they've struggling, with sales reps, setters, closers, to get them there. So now they can look up to you as a consultant to show them the blueprint to be able to get from 100,000 to 1 million. So these people have a genuine problem that they need a solution on. So a person with all that, criteria could be your A+ grade lead. right? So basically, you have to list down the characters or the characteristics of your A plus grade lead. Then now you find those people. If you can have 100,000 of those people on your spreadsheet, your CRM, whatsoever, you initiate outreach. Those are high intent people. You're gonna get way more booked appointments, way more advisory calls contacted, and a lot of revenue generated into your company, right? So the main focus, like I said, should be on generating hyper A plus grade leads, right? Then from there, you convert those leads into booked appointments. So here again, if you're not converting the leads into booked appointment, there is a problem. Then there is leads to appointment booking problem. So now, how do you solve the leads to appointment booking problem? Then you begin to reiterate exactly how you can solve a leads to an appointment booking problem. How do you solve that problem? Then from there, you need to be turning the booked appointments into actual advisory calls. If let's say you book someone on an appointment, the day of an appointment, they don't show up, that again is a lag. It becomes a problem. If you have, let's say, an 80% no show rate, the people that you book on an appointment are not showing up, you have appointment booking to advisor meeting, a conversion problem. How then do you get more booked appointments to show up on the meeting, so now you can easily close the deal? Then now you begin to reiterate on how to increase the show up rate from appointment booked to advisory meetings, right? Then from there, from advisory meetings to close clients. So now if you are closing, let's say, 2% of people that get on an advisory call with you, you have an advisory meeting to close deals problem. Then now you begin to reiterate your advisory meeting to close deals frameworks, so you can actually close more deals. Basically, this is exactly what you need to be able to hit your targets as a company. You look at your lead score, and the number of leads you're generating, that will translate to advisory calls. From there, advisory calls, you look at advisory calls to close deals. What's the rate? What's the distance here? Then you begin to improve the distance here. From there, now you look at from closed deals to income generated. How much are you generating? Okay, we did 400 closed deals at 10,000. We generated 4 million. Great. How then can we reframe our offer, this 10,000 offer, so we can double our revenue? Okay, let's increase the price to 20,000. Okay, great. We are generating 8 million here. How then now do we double 8 million? Maybe from 8 million, let's make it a retainer, meaning they're paying 20,000 monthly. Now you multiply 4 million by 12. I'm assuming that could be 4 million by 12. That's 48 million, meaning in a year's time you're generating now 48 million because you've reframed the offer. So now these metrics gives you exactly what you need to do to be able to hit your goals. Like I said, you continue reiterating. Reiterating simply means making changes to improve a system or a process, perfecting a system or a process from how it was previously. And once you reiterate, you repeat the whole cycle and see, compare your current results to your previous results. So now, if you want an actual company, Acquisition Founders Limited, with experts in implementing this system to run the whole process from lead generation to client acquisition together with your whole team, I've left a link in the description down below. Mind you, this month, for the next 6 months, we are only working with 10 companies. You can go ahead and book an advisory call. We're going to get a meeting with us. We're going to show you exactly how we're going to, improve the leads you're generating, all the way to the appointments you're booking, to your advisory calls, all the way to closing clients, right? All of that process done with you, right? So go ahead and book an advisory call right there. So you can email me. If you want to email me, go ahead and email me at manuelkatita@gmail.com, or you can call me, WhatsApp me at +2609767474922, and we're actually gonna put these systems into your company so you can generate more leads and close more clients. This is Emmanuel Katita from Acquisition Founders Limited. Me and my business partner will wish you an amazing, business day. Peace out.